What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Prophecy Misfits Podcast. This is episode 237. Sorry. No rest. One of those people, whenever the thing, like the edge of a shirt is flipped over, it bugs me. Anyways, so welcome in. This is what we do on Tuesdays and Saturdays. We get together and we watch the absolutely just crazy, insanity, dark stuff going on around the world. As we hold to the belief that the darker the world gets, the closer we are to going home. And that's why we're called to be watchmen. We're called to watch for these things and make sure that we're not caught off guard, make sure that we have somewhat of an understanding of what is going on in this world, which your guess is as good as mine, to say the least. But yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, welcome in. Glad to have you guys here. If this is your first time in, welcome in. And yeah, we do things weird around here. We talk about the abnormal. We talk about the crazy. We question the narrative, but ultimately we hold to the gospel and the Bible. And that's all we have. And that's enough for me, and that's enough for everybody. But yeah, that's what we do. So welcome in. But yeah, episode 327. I can't believe we've done 327 of these. But yeah, no rest. Pretty much short for no rest for the wicked. And there's plenty of stuff that's been going on just like crazy. Just trying to maneuver and just try and find it's been a week. So we'll just leave it there. But yeah, we're going to be covering some stuff when it comes to a couple things from Albania and an update from Nepal, which we talked about the Nepal thing on Tuesday, how there was a massive uprising there. Some questionable stuff regarding that. I'll just say that. Well, I'll kind of make mention of it. But yeah, some stuff there. We also got a report coming out. U.S. technology is leading the way for Chinese dystopia. So that shouldn't surprise us at all. We also got some stuff coming out from California regarding online age verification, as well as South Dakota and Wyoming as well. And so this is something that I've been warning about for a while. That these individual states are starting to close in on digital IDs and age verification in order to participate online. So we got some stuff there. We also got an announcement from Tether. This was one of the things that snuck under the radar because of other events that took place. But Tether has announced their USAT stablecoin. And this stablecoin works in conjunction with the Genius Act and will be distributed through the only cryptocurrency bank that is also compliant with the the Genius Act as well. And so it looks like we're making some moves in regards to the digital currency here in the United States. Following along with that, we also got some updates regarding the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin situation. Those are now going to start they're going to be placed underneath the Patriot Act as well. So they're getting things set up for this digital currency here in the United States. We also got some updates regarding National Guard deployment here in the United States as well. Then we've also got a lawsuit that just came out, which I haven't seen anywhere, honestly. But it's a whole bunch of Korean women suing the United States military for things. Well, we'll get to it. Things that happened during the 1950s into the 1980s. So we'll talk about that. And then we also got a couple things. Epstein vote failed. The Republicans decided to vote against the release of the Epstein documents, which again, I think is a whole distraction in itself, but I think it's worth mentioning. And then Musk came out during a recent podcast and said that the government's unfixable, which we know that, but it's only an indicator of the only option that we know is coming, which eventually they'll blow it up and bring in the one world system. So we got just a bunch of stuff to talk. It's crazy. So yeah, that's what we got going on for tonight. All right, let's see how y'all are doing tonight in the chat. I'm running at about a half speed tonight, guys. I apologize. So hang with me, please. Hang with me. Let's see here. Let's go here with Rosetta. Rosetta, and good to see it, Jellyfish. Hopefully you're doing all right. Down under, and everything is going all right for you. You are in Australia, right? I think that's right. Trying to keep track. Abby Normal is here as well. Good to see Abby. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And hopefully you're doing all right tonight and had a good week and all that type of stuff. Thanks for being here. Gracie is here as well. Got a new picture with a cat. That is I don't want to say angry, but a pretty perturbed cat going on there, Gracie. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Let's see. We got Nancy West as well. Good to see you. Martinis with bearded ladies. All right. Just sipping martinis with bearded ladies and bikinis and Trump's cousin Riviera is my guess of what could be up or not. Why not speculate? Well, there's what was it? I'm not talking about it tonight, but I just saw that Netanyahu and Trump and another guy, I can't remember his name, are all getting together to commemorate and name a section, a section of a location that they plan on building in, and they're going to name it after Trump. So pretty interesting there. Chris Believer in Jesus is here as well. Good to see you. I'm losing my mind. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for being here. Jalapeno is here as well. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. And hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Appreciate you coming in and doing what you do. Jojo by his grace is here as well. Good to see you, Jojo. And thanks for coming in on this Saturday. Appreciate you. Lori S is here. Good to see you, Lori. And hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Maranatha is here as well. Good to see you. Talking about Gideon. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with that. Definitely see what's going to happen with that. I think there's more to stuff going on than people realize. That's for sure. Kylie Doodle is here. Always good to see you, Kylie. And hopefully you had a good week. And appreciate you being in here. Dan O'Man's Gump Ride is here. It's not the regular ride, it's the Gump Ride. Good to see you, Dan. Let's see with Cindy J as well. Lots going on. Yeah, that's for sure. Good to see you, Cindy. Let's see. Jessica McCord is here as well. Good to see you, Jessica. And hopefully you had a good week. Rachel C is here as well. Talk about spiritual warfare, deception, and end times evil. To say the least. To say the least. And I'm not sure the church is getting it. I'll say that much. Not sure that, well, actually, I'm pretty sure that most of the church is not getting it indeed, but good to see you, Rachel. Barbara is here as well. Thanks for being here, Barbara. And hopefully you're getting some rest this weekend. Art Darnell is here as well. Good to see you, Darnell. Let's see here. We got Country Darlin as well. Good to see you, Darlin. Misfit Tina and Peanut the Pug is here. Good to see you, Tina. Matt, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing all right tonight, man. And hopefully that leg is healing up. Edward McKelvey is here as well. Good to see you, Edward. What's up, Patrick? Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. Hello, beloved, as well. It gets darker. Yeah, it's getting darker, which means we're getting closer. We don't know how long we got. But as long as we've got our Lord, we've got the strength and endurance to make it how far He chooses He wants us to go. So, but good to see you. Let's see here. Peanut is here. Good to see it. The dog picture. I love it. Good to see you, Peanut. Diane is here as well. Good to see you, Diane. Appreciate you. MGK is here. Man, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Let's see here. This thing is being weird. Come on. There we go. Daniel Morris is here as well. Good to see Daniel. We got Trace as well. Not of This World is here as well. Lorraine McGinnis. Incog is here as well. I saw Lisa B. There she is. Lisa B. Good to see you. Cassie M is here as well. Let's see. Patricia Schultz is here. Donna Roth is here as well. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Over on Rumble, who do we got? In This World, or Not of This World is here. CL Moody is there as well. Mindy G. Hey, Mindy. Let's see here. Miss Katie is over there as well. Good to see you, Katie. Let's see. Jacques as well. Sherbert as well. Good to see you. Dan Jimenez. Good to see you, Dan. Let's see. Romans 10. Yeah, good one. Romaha is there as well. Good to see Romaha. And on the website, we got Doc. We got Harl. Grace is over there. Sherry M is over there. Shirley Bible Believer as well. Good to see you guys. Am I missing anybody? Amber is there as well. Good to see you guys. So thanks for being here. If I don't pick you out, it's not don't like you. It's just we got a bunch of stuff to get to tonight. And so we're going to go ahead and get to some housekeeping.
Housekeeping? I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
All right, for housekeeping, usual spiel. If you guys can, like, share, subscribe, get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views, it's not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people and getting people to Jesus. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, I would certainly appreciate it. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. It's crazy, it's deceptive, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of, I'm going to throw this in there, there's a lot of emotional reaction, which is covering up rational thought. And so hopefully we can kind of help with that, answer some questions, point people to Jesus, and ultimately give them the gospel of Jesus. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, it helps get that done. Also, if you guys can, follow me Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. If I get booted off YouTube, we'll be back up live streaming over on Rumble. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. Telegram, post updates, announcements, and other little things that I can't necessarily put in video format. But if you don't like Rumble, you don't like Telegram, I completely understand. Don't worry. Best place to stay up to date is the WretchedWatchmen.com official website. Everything is over there. So everything that you want to know what's going on, announcements, live streams, podcasts, and anything in between, it can all be found there. So make sure you guys go ahead and bookmark the website so you know what is going on. And then, yeah, I just posted an update today. No show Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday, what is that, the 16th? I think it's the 16th. Yeah, this coming Tuesday, no show. I know this episode is called No Rest, but I'm taking a break on Tuesday. I hope you guys understand. So yeah, there's going to be no show Tuesday. We'll be back at it the next Saturday. So make sure you guys mark that down. And then, yeah, just check the website if you don't know what's going on. And it's there, so it's a reminder. It's the only red thing that I got on the website. So no show this coming Tuesday. And then last but not least, if you guys would like to support this channel and what I got going on, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and GiveSendGo. This channel is not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' generous donations. So if you guys would like to support this channel and all that jazz, it is down there, or the links are down there and in the chat. So thank you guys for your support and your prayers and your encouragement. You guys are awesome. So I appreciate you guys. And thank you for that. All right. That's that. You guys talking about in the chat. Foods. It's always food. I could guess that every time. All right. That's what we got with that stuff. It is Saturday. It is Saturday, right? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get to the Wretched Weather Report.
Everybody got their fancy hats? Let's go!
All right. Y'all got your fancy hats on. We're going to go ahead and get into the Wretched Weather Report. So when it comes to the Wretched Weather Report, what we do is we just keep track of the trends of what's going on with the crazy natural events that are happening out there. There's a lot of stuff in the realm of nature, things like volcanoes and earthquakes, storms, hurricanes, tornadoes and monsoons and typhoons and all that type of stuff. There's a lot of crazy things that are going on. That in itself is a full-time job trying to keep track of all that stuff, I'll tell you what. But what we do is we just keep track of the trends, mainly large-scale earthquakes, the average of volcanoes that are going on over there, and if there's any interesting or standout storms or anything like that, we just kind of take a look at those and keep track, because these are part of the birth pains that are going to increase in size and frequency as we get closer and into the day of the Lord. And so, yeah, we just keep track. And so this past week, as you can see, not much on the earthquake front of things. We only got 4, a couple big ones. But yeah, we only got 4 going on right now. And so keeping track of the 5.5 magnitude and up, this past week, we had a 6.4 in the Vanuatu region. Vanuatu is, they're usually rocking. So that's not a surprise there. Then there was a 5.8 in the Port Orford, Oregon. And so there was quite a large one off the coast there of Oregon. And there was some talks that hopefully that no tsunamis or anything like that happened. None of that happened. But yeah, so something in Oregon. And it's always worth keeping track of that area over there, because we know of the San Andreas fault line. And so I'm under the belief, and I just hold to it because I think it fits with what we know is going to happen post rapture and whatnot. Is there's going to be a lot of earth damage to the United States, in my opinion, because there's so many things that can happen. You have the Madrid, you've got the San Andreas fault lines, and then you've got Yellowstone. Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was Jellystone, but that's Yogi Bear. Hey, boo boo. No, but Yellowstone, and those alone can send the entire West Coast into the ocean and cover a third of the United States in lava. So pretty interesting. But yeah, so it's always worth keeping track of that. And then there's a 5.6 in Tristan da Cunha. That's the mid-Atlantic ridge over there, which, yes, is in the Atlantic. Surprising, I know. And then there's the big one of the week is a 7.4 in Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, which is in Russia. That's the place that got hit not too long ago by the massive 8-point-something sucker that hit over there with a whole bunch of the aftershocks and whatnot. So they got another big one, not as big as the last one, but man, something be rumbling over in Russia, I'll tell you what. As far as volcanoes this past week, we're sitting at 44, so we entered back after a couple weeks out of the usual global average that we have. We entered back in at the low end spectrum of 44, which is +1 from last week, and we got 7 in North America, which is down 1 from last week, 4 in South America, 2 in Europe, 3 in Antarctica, 3 in Africa, 18 in Asia, which is +2, and then 7 in Oceania. So +2 minus 1 equals +1, and so we have +1. And there's your math lesson for the week as well. Oh, my word. Talking about the Yogi Bear stuff in the chat. Hey, boo boo, we gotta go see the ranger about getting some picnic baskets. Oh, yes, but I could never do the boo boo voice though. My dad can do a good boo boo, but he can't do that right now. Anyways, moving on. So that's what we got when it comes to. I told you it's been a long week, guys. Hopefully you're cool with little randomness. But yeah, so that's what we got when it comes to the natural events happening around the world right now, the Wretched Weather Report. I'm still seeing a whole bunch of reports all over in the Asian area, Middle East and Asian region of floods. It's just flooding like crazy over there. It's usually this time they get a lot of rain and whatnot anyways, but the floods seem to be increased from the past couple of years. So continue to be praying for those that are still being affected by the flooding that's going on. It's just nonstop. But yeah, so that's what we got when it comes to Wretched Weather Report. Okie dokie. What do we got going on here? Hold on. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into what we got going on right now. So, yeah, we're just gonna be covering some of the stuff that I'm always, because I know a lot of people are like, why aren't you going to talk about the Kirk stuff that happened? Because I'm one of those people where, first of all, it's very early. And second of all, there's stuff, I'm always one of those people when the right hand is flashing, the left hand is doing something as well. So I think it's worth paying attention to other stuff in that region. So that's that. So, all right. So we're going to go around the world a little bit here to start this stuff. And this is telling. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, Albania, really? If you're one of the people that watches and you are from Albania, what's up? That's pretty cool. I've managed to get some statistics and stuff like that. And we got people that watch from like 66 different countries. It's crazy. Around the 60 different countries. So it's pretty cool. Maybe we got somebody from Albania. Anyways, this is pretty interesting though, because Albania has appointed its the world's first AI government minister. in their government. So this isn't just like a AI assistant in the government. This is an actual minister. It has a position, it has a title, and it's being used in such a way. So this is a pretty telling for what we can see coming around the bend when it comes to the global government that we see being built. This is the digital assistant called Delia. I think it's Delia or something like that, is pictured as a woman dressed in traditional Albanian garb. Albania has appointed the world's first artificial intelligence generated government minister, aiming to make the country quote unquote corruption free. Interesting. The digital assistant is called Delia, meaning son, and has been advising people how to navigate government services online since January. On Thursday, Albania's Prime Minister Edi Rama announced the digital minister to his cabinet. Delia is the first government member who is not physically present, but virtually created by artificial intelligence, Rama said. Delia will be entrusted with all the decisions on public tenders, making them 100% corruption-free, he said. Right. Adding that every public fund submitted to the tender procedure will be perfectly transparent. Deciding on who wins public tenders will be removed from the government ministers in a step-by-step process, Rama said, adding that AI would ensure all public spending in the tender process is 100% clear. Rama is expected to announce his cabinet in the coming days following his election in May. So I wanted to point this out. Because I hold to the belief, and I know a lot of others do, and it's not something that I'm gonna die on the hill about. It's just the trend that we see. The momentum is moving in the direction of tech, of AI, which I believe is absolutely a supernatural technology, grabbing hold of powerful positions around the world. I think that when the beast arrives on the scene, he's going to utilize technology in order to produce false lying signs and wonders, to have this ability to be omnipresent through technology, to do all these things, to be able to rule this one world system. And so by having everything connected to AI, I believe is an important step with that. And so now we have a big step here. Yes, it's Albania, but first it's Albania, then it's Russia. You know, that's how it goes. And we got ourselves the injection of an actual sitting, quote unquote, sitting AI minister within the government who's going to be making decisions and moving forward in that direction. Sticking with the same kind of idea, because I just talked about the Nepal thing as well, where they had just had this massive uprising. They set the parliament building on fire. There was I think 12 people total killed, including a woman who was the wife of an ex-prime minister who was set on fire. There's a couple other people in the parliament that were dragged out of their homes, stripped down, flogged in the middle of the street and everything. It was a massive thing. I've done some more looking on that situation, and there appears to be, like all these situations, some funding coming from some shady places, including the U.S. Aid Department. So it seems like this is something that's been in the works for a while and was planned and orchestrated, however you want to say it. I don't have anything that I can necessarily show that confirms that. I'm just letting you know that it seems sketchy regarding that. But we have here, it says Sushila Karki. We're just going to call her Karki. Karki, sworn in as interim prime minister of Nepal, becomes the first leader of government in the world to be elected on Discord, which is a speech text platform for phones and computers and so on and so forth. Yes, the interim prime minister of Nepal was selected on a social media platform, which was one of the platforms that they were originally going to ban from the country before the uprising took place. only something that you would see in a movie script, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. It says Nepal President Ram Chandra Paldel administered the oath of office to the former Chief Justice Susila Karki as the head of the interim government on the 12th of September. This came days after the fall of the KP Ali government on Tuesday due to the violent Gen Z protests. Along with Karki, Gen Z Representative Sudan Gurung and advocate Aryal have been inducted as ministers. The appointment of the interim government was made under Article 61 of the Constitution. Several diplomats of various governments attended the ceremony as well. And we can see here only 7,700 people voted. And that's how it happened on Discord. That's how they managed to do this. What else is fascinating, getting back to the AI thing, is I managed to see that there was a lot of, about a year before all of this took place, over the past year, those who were in the Nepal region, whenever they were doing searches for government officials or anything that has to do with politics of the region, AI continued to feed her name into almost all the searches that kept popping up. And I've talked about this before. A way that you can do societal conditioning, societal manipulation, is by doing things just like that, where you continue to hammer somebody with the same name or the same face over and over and over again, and it gets ingrained in somebody's mind. And so when something like this happens, as soon as they see the name, they go, oh, well, I know that person, I'm going to vote for them, type of thing. So I just wanted to point this out. The Nepal situation seems to be pretty sketch, especially with how they chose this person, as well as AI seem to play a part in manipulating society in order to get her in office as well. So it's pretty fascinating that we see technology being used the way it is, as well as the societal manipulation. We know that every day, every single day of our lives, I don't care if you never go outside and you're in the digital sphere, or you're never online and you're out there in the real world. You are being fed specific information to program you into a certain direction, to believe a certain thing, to go in a certain direction, to think about certain things. Everything that we have around our world right now is about deceiving you, is about manipulating you, is about moving you in the direction that they want to go. Doesn't matter if it's going to the left, doesn't matter if it's going to the right, doesn't matter if it's this religion thing, doesn't matter if that's religion thing, doesn't matter if it's advertising for this color shoe or for that colored purse, it doesn't matter. It's being used to manipulate you in some type of way. And this is the world that we're in right now. We have to remember that. And I posted some, I've talked about it in the past, and I've brought it up in the past and whatnot, but I just posted something on my Telegram and whatnot yesterday regarding very simple things that we need to be able to recognize if we want to be able to see past the deception that's going on. And I made reference to two specific terms: the deep state and democracy. The fact is the deep state doesn't exist. We've been fed this specifically from the freedom-fighting conservative right? We've heard the deep state. I've used the deep state in the past before I started climbing out of that hole. The deep state doesn't exist, because that implies that the state itself, the regular state, actually cares about you and is fighting against the deep state and wants to do good. But the problem is that doesn't exist. It's all the state. It's all evil men doing the bidding of Satan and moving forward that way. So, but it's there to trick you into believing that there's two sides. There's the bad side, the globalists, they want you gone, and then there's the good side, and they want to fight for you, type of thing. And it's another form of keeping you in that same mindset of there's a good guy and a bad guy. We don't really have that. Democracy is another one. This is one I've talked about a lot, because democracy doesn't exist. Democracy is a made-up term to give people the illusion of choice. It gives them the illusion that they have a choice. Some people say, well, it sure looks like mob rule out there, because that's what democracy is considered. It's mob rule. Sure is mob rule out there, and I'll give you this. Orchestrated chaos is still orchestrated. That means somebody is orchestrating it. So does that mean that the mob actually has rule? No. It's giving you the illusion that it does. It doesn't exist. But the thing is when you continue to get fed those things, whether you're for it or fighting against it, doesn't matter. You're still being shown a specific direction that they want you to go. And we have to be able to recognize that. We have to be able to see through those lies in order to be able to see the things that's going on out there. And so that's very important. And so when we see something like that, again, Albania, Nepal, when do we ever talk about them? When do we ever hear about them? Are those people any less important than us? They're not. Not in the eyes of God. He wants them saved in his presence as much as he wants us saved in our presence. But the thing is because we don't hear about them too often, when they introduce stuff like we just saw, like I just pointed out, we understand that Satan is manipulating that area of the world just as much as he's manipulating ours. When you look at it in that point of view, it kind of makes a little sense with what we see happening. So definitely just wanted to bring that forward because it's just insane out there. The deception is insane. And the darkness just keeps on going too. We have this. It says detailed findings regarding the AP investigation into how the U.S. tech firms enabled China's digital police state. This is a little different than the usual stuff that we continue to get fed. Because usually we get fed that China is the one that has all this technology, that they're using it against the Western world and they want to take us down and do all these things. You know, the whole US versus China narrative that we continue to get fed and whatnot. But it seems to me that it's US technology firms that have been helping China develop these things. And this is something that we've talked about for years on this channel. The fact is China is just as connected to the globalists as we are, and as Russia is, and as Europe is, and whatnot. And the technology that's being used in China, they're testing it. They're getting it ready. They're making these things happen so it can start spreading across the world. China's not against us. They are being orchestrated and puppeteered by the same evil beings that we are. And it's all in lockstep. It's all to get the same stuff off the ground and make it happen. And I mean, this isn't new. I mean, we go back in history. Before China, it was Germany, right? Go back to Germany. Who was the U.S. technology company that was helping Nazi Germany back in the time? There's several of them. IBM, Ford, and those are some of the ones that were going on back then. It's because we're all working together to make this stuff happen. It says American tech companies, to a large degree, designed and built Chinese surveillance state, playing a far greater role in enabling human rights abuses than previously known. They sold billions of dollars of technology to the Chinese police, government, and surveillance companies, despite repeated warnings from U.S. Congress despite repeated warnings from the U.S. Congress and in the media that such tools were being used to quash dissident, persecute religious sects, and target minorities. We just went over last week, going over the whole Carbine situation. That code that is the ground floor of Carbine is the one that Eric Prince took and sold to China so they can go and hunt down the Uyghurs in the region. Imagine that. And that's a combination of Israeli and American technology to make that happen. It says the investigation was based on tens of thousands of leaked emails and databases from a Chinese surveillance company, thousands of pages of confidential corporate and government documents, public Chinese language marketing material, and thousands of procurements, many provided by China File, a digital magazine published by the nonprofit Asia Society. Let's see. The AP also drew from dozens open record requests and interviews with more than 100 current and former Chinese and American engineers, executives, experts, officials, administrators, and police officers. The American tech firms were by far the biggest suppliers, but German, Japanese, and Korean firms also had a role. Here are some examples. Regarding military access, a Chinese military contractor worked with Armonk, New York-based IBM in 2009 to design national intelligence systems, including a counter-terrorist system, according to the classified Chinese government documents. So we got IBM playing a part of this, which, again, IBM's always at the center of just evil stuff, man. I'll tell you what. IBM agents in China sold IBM's I2 policing analysis software to the Xinjiang police, China's Ministry of State Secretary, and other Chinese police units through the 2010s. I2 software was subsequently copied and deployed by one former IBM agent, Landasoft, as the basis for predictive policing platform that tagged hundreds of thousands of people as potential terrorists during brutal crackdown in China's far west Xinjiang region. We got that as well. We got ethnic stuff. Dell and then subsidiary VMware sold cloud software and storage devices to police and entities providing data to police in Tibet and Xinjiang. Even as late as 2022, after ethnic repression there was widely known, Dell addressed race in its marketing. In 2019, Dell said that on WeChat, it had teamed up with surveillance firm Yitu to sell a military-grade AI-powered laptop for Chinese police with all race recognition. Dell, based in Round Rock, Texas, told AP it conducts rigorous due diligence. Right. Sure. And I'm the Queen of England. Fingerprint recognition. Chinese defense contractor Howdy worked with IBM to construct China's national fingerprint database. Wow. That's getting awfully close to what they helped the Germans with regarding the Jewish people back in the 20s and the 30s. IBM said it never sold fingerprinting specific products to the Chinese government and that any possible misuse for fingerprinting purposes was done without his knowledge or assistance. I, again, don't believe that for a second. AI cameras. IBM, Dell, Tokyo-based Hitachi, and VMware promoted facial recognition for the use of Chinese police. Japanese electronic giant Sony said on its official WeChat account that it wired a Chinese prison with intelligent cameras, saying it was widely trusted for surveillance projects. California chip giant NVIDIA and Intel partnered with China's three biggest surveillance company to add AI capabilities to camera systems used for video surveillance across China. I hope we're getting the idea here. I hope we understand what's going on. This is something that I've talked about for a long time. The fact is the governments need the corporations. It used to be the other way around. It used to be that the corporations needed the government. Now it's flipped. The governments need the corporations. The corporations hold all the control. The corporations hold all of the technology. The corporations know all of the secrets. It's the corporations. We are transitioning from governments to corporations. And this is one of the main reasons, and I've held this for a long time, one of the main reasons that I believe that the power shift that we are currently seeing right now from government to corporation is also something that is eventually going to fold into what we see when it comes to the power shift of the end times, when we see the beast council getting set up, the 10 kings and so on and so forth. I think it's going to be these industry leaders. It's going to be these corporate leaders that are going to be the ones, because they hold all the power, all the technology, and all the secrets of everything that we see happening right now. And so we just continue to see more and more of this. The same companies that are basically building the systems here in the United States are the same ones that are building it in China, the same ones building it in Russia, the same ones building it in the Middle East, the same ones building it in Europe, all over. It's the same people, the same corporations that are doing it. Surveillance research. NVIDIA, IBM, and Hitachi staff collaborated with Chinese police researchers and companies on surveillance technology. NVIDIA said in a post dating to 2013 or later that a Chinese police institute used its chip for surveillance technology research. NVIDIA said it doesn't currently work with the Chinese police, but did not address the past. Shocking. And in 2021, an IBM and a U.S. Army researcher co-authored an AI video study with a Chinese police researcher working on a sanctioned company, according to a paper unearthed by IPVM, surveillance research publication. The U.S. Army told the AP that Chinese police researcher only worked on the paper after the Army's researcher had concluded. Okay. DNA. Chinese police DNA labs bought Dell and Microsoft software and equipment to save genetic data on police databases. In 2021, Hitachi advertised DNA sequencers to Chinese police, and police labs bought pipettes from German biotech firm Eppendorf last year. And until contacted by AP in August, Massachusetts-based biotech firm Thermo Fisher Scientific website stated that its kits are made for China's national DNA database and designed for Chinese population, including ethnic minorities like Uyghurs and Tibetans, and featured the work of a Chinese military police or a Chinese police researcher who discussed using Thermo Fisher kits to identify ethnic Uyghur and Manchu populations at a 2016 conference. Internet Police. In 2014, VMware said Internet Police in cities across China used its software. And in 2016, Dell said on its WeChat account that its services assisted the Chinese Internet Police in cracking down on rumor mongers, essentially promoting censorship. Lockstep. An updated IBM marketing presentation said the Internet Police in Shanghai and Guangzhou used its i2 software with metadata suggesting it was from 2018. Encryption technology leaked government blueprints show Illinois-based Motorola provided encrypted radio communications technology to the Chinese police for handling sudden and mass events in Beijing. Of course, they did not respond for comment. AI drives, California hard disk giants Seagate and Western Digital, which most of you probably with computers have one of these two hard drives in your computer. And Tokyo-based Toshiba sell hard drives specialized for AI video systems for use by Chinese police. Just keeps going. Mapping software. Blueprints show that in 2019, IBM, Oracle, and Esri, the creators of ArcGIS, based in California, sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of software to build China's police geographic information system. And in 2013, HP said it sold digital fencing solutions to Chinese police. Such systems alert Chinese police even today when Uyghurs, Tibetans, or dissidents stray out of provinces, counties, or even villages. And guess what? That same technology is on us today. It's just not, they're not enforcing it. But the geofencing is absolutely something that we have all over the United States right now. If you go somewhere, they know it. And eventually we're going to have districts or however they're going to set it up where if you start going somewhere that they don't want you to, it'll flag and they'll take you. Simple as that. It's already there in China. Why wouldn't they do it here? Technology is already in place. Police gear. Chinese police patrol the streets equipped with foreign technology. Officers stroll the streets of Beijing, Motorola walkie-talkies, for example, while Korean electronics giant Samsung sells micro SD cards for police body cameras, advertising them as Chinese police trade shows in 2023 and 2024. Plus, you got Chinese state-owned Xinhua said it cooperated with German electronics giant Philips on China's first AI-powered 5G body police camera. IBM, Dell, California network seller Cisco, Seattle-based Amazon Web Services, Seagate, Intel, Thermo Fisher, and Western Digital all say that they adhered to relevant export controls, laws, and regulations where they operate. Eppendorf, Sony, and Hitachi declined to describe their business relationship in China, but said they respected human rights. Right. I think we kind of get the point of what this is. How do I even want to go over this? The fact is these corporations, these very few select corporations, are currently building a digital prison for the world, the entire world right now. This is not conspiracy. This is not a movie script. This is not comic book. This is none of that. This is the reality of the situation that we're in right now. You know how I brought up the whole manipulation thing, manipulate society and whatnot? The thing is while this technology is being built, distributed, installed, and turned online and being tested, it's being tested 24/7 every day, and it has been. When they're doing this, they're putting things out, they're doing things in the world in order to manipulate society so they can test these systems and get them ready for live action. And so when we continue to get manipulated, when we continue to see things that happen and events unfold and all these things that can move society around. Look at 2020, man. That was one of the biggest tests that they've ever ran because they ran, I don't know how many systems. I'm still finding new systems that they were testing back then during that time. But they were testing people. They manipulated societies. They manipulated the entire world, the world societies, in order to see how people would react, in order to test these things and get them moving forward. And eventually that thing, I believe, is going to be used in some capacity when that beast finally steps on the scene. Now, thankfully for us who have Jesus Christ, we don't have to worry about that. We're not going to be here for when that happens. But the reality is when this technology they're not hiding it anymore. This technology used to be stuff that, you were the tinfoil hat wearing crazy lunatic whenever you'd bring something up. Like, dude, they're listening to our conversations on the phone, man. Go back 10 years ago. Anybody who said that back then, the majority of the world would think you were absolutely insane. They're listening to our phones when we're talking. No, man, they're not doing that. No. That's nothing now to the average person. You can talk to anybody about that and they'll go, yeah, I know. But remember, see, the thing is they're not hiding the technology anymore. They are telling us what they are doing. They are building digital cages for all of us. And it's for the world. It is absolutely for the world right now. And this is definitely unfolding. And it's unfolding fast. And sticking with that technology, I've been warning that the online age verification digital ID system is coming to the United States. I've been warning for the past several years now. For those who have been around my channel, this is something that I've talked about. It's coming. They're working on it. And we're starting to see a lot of individual states prepping this stuff and rolling it out. And we got this coming out. It says California social media age verification rules face no constitutional ruling until finalized, the Ninth Circuit says. Federal Appeals Court has upheld most of California's new restrictions on how social media companies interact with age unverified accounts, despite opposition from lobbyists and civil liberties groups. The law known as the Protecting Our Kids from Social Media Addiction Act, which is SB 976, targets algorithm-driven content feeds deemed addictive for children and introduces mandatory age verification rules set to take effect in 2027. NetChoice filed a lawsuit claiming the law goes too far. The organization argued that this statute intrudes on free expression, hands the government excessive control over lawful speech, and is so vaguely worded that it cannot be enforced fairly. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, however, ruled that most of the NetChoice argument do not uphold at this stage. This law that they're wanting to put through in California is similar to the same laws that we've been seeing ruled out about protecting underage kids for whatever it is, adult content. This is addictive feeds and scrolling habits and whatnot, or algorithms. And the idea is if it's an age unverified account, so it's an account that hasn't verified the age in some type of way, you have to verify that you're over a certain age in order for it to not be restricted. So what that means is you have to give over an ID, essentially creating a digital ID at that point where they can verify your age, and then they've got you locked in. It's the same stuff that we've been seeing like in Europe and Australia and all these other countries where they're starting to introduce this. So we've got California that's doing it. Dakota and Wyoming following right behind. Blue Sky implements age verification in South Dakota and Wyoming. Anonymous speech is being traded for compliance, one state law at a time. Blue Sky has begun requiring users in South Dakota and Wyoming to verify their age in response to new state-level online safety laws. Those rules are being sold as protections for kids, but the reality is forced everyone to hand over sensitive info just to stay online. Anonymous access is being quietly pushed out, replaced by systems that expect you to verify who you are before you can speak, share, or connect. Those in affected areas will need to confirm their age using options such as digital ID, payment card, or another approved method. Now, that's just one social media company that's doing that, but South Dakota and Wyoming are indeed working on new laws, new legislation for their states to make it so you have to verify yourself before you can access whatever they want. That hasn't been determined quite yet. But they're moving in that direction. We saw Mississippi that's implementing that there. We saw some states already when it comes to adult stuff, like Texas and several other states have all did it for adult content websites. You have to submit your ID in order to verify who you are and whatnot. It's the same exact stuff. It's just piece by piece. Again, it's a different situation from Europe to the United States, but it's piece by piece introducing the exact same stuff that we're seeing over in Europe regarding this. But it's happening here in the United States under the guise of protecting the kids. They don't care about the kids. These are the same people that do things to kids, and I'll just leave it right there. But they know that the kids is a way to pull on people's heartstrings in order to make it happen. And it's just piece by piece, piece by piece. They're starting to do this. Now, this is the big one. This was the one that I really wanted to talk about. Because while the world was looking in one direction, they were announcing something under the radar. And I don't think that's coincidence. Tether unveils USAT, its planned US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin, and will appoint Bo Hines as CEO of Tether USAT. The introduction of USAT and appointment of Bo Hines marks Tether's next chapter in strengthening US dollar dominance through transparency and innovation. Tether was the company that I was telling people to pay attention to. I believe that Tether, at this moment in time, I still believe that Tether is one of the main companies that is going to help introduce this new digital dollar, which is the stablecoin, which we understand, and we're not going to go through all of it again. We've already gone through it, so if you don't know anything about it, you can find the videos on my YouTube channel. But the whole idea of the Trump administration, quote unquote, banning the CBDC was all one giant illusion. It was a way to say, we're against what the world is doing, what the globalists want to do. But in that same exact executive order, they were promoting stablecoin, which is worse than a CBDC. And we've gone over whys. Because it's not the government that's in control. They don't have to go through all the politics and the red tape and the legislation and laws. They don't have to worry about any of that. It's private corporations that hold the power of these things. And with how that works is if you do something that they don't like, they can just instantly turn it off. They don't have to go through all the regulations. They can just turn it off. And Tether was one of the main companies that was always attached to this in some way. And now we have this, they're announcing this. Tether, the largest company in digital asset ecosystem, today unveiled USAT, its planned US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin, along with the announcement and appointment of Bo Hines as Tether USAT's future chief executive officer. The simultaneous introduction of both the token and the CEO reflects Tether's commitment to delivering a U.S. regulated dollar-backed stablecoin backed by transparent reserves, strong governance, and American leadership from day one. As the most widely used stablecoin in the world, Tether's USDT token, which is the stablecoin or U.S. dollar back, or the stablecoin that's backed by the U.S. dollar that they institute around the world. And so the USAT is the one that's here. Token has become the infrastructure powering the digital asset economy, with a market capitalization exceeding $169 billion and daily transactional volumes that outpace even the traditional behemoths of the payment sector, like the top credit card and remittance companies. Moreover, USDT has grown to be globally known as the digital dollar for emerging markets and developing countries, reaching nearly 500 million users as of today, with a deep focus on the underbanked unbanked, and underserved, the communities left behind by traditional financial sector for being too poor to pay the high fees imposed by those institutions. See, USAT will be established as a U.S. regulated stablecoin designed to provide businesses and institutions with a digital alternative to cash and traditional payment rails. Governed by strict regulatory standards and backed by transparent reserves, USAT will set a new benchmark for compliance and accessibility for the U.S. stablecoin industry. USAT will be designed to comply with the recently enacted Genius Act, the landmark U.S. legislation governing stablecoin issuance, marking a major step towards aligning digital asset innovation with the country's established leadership in financial regulation. This could be something pretty significant, guys. USAT will leverage the Hadron by Tether technology, the most advanced real-world assets tokenization platform. Anchorage Digital, the first and only federally regulated crypto bank, will be the Genius Act compliant issuer. Together, they offer a solution for Tether USAT to launch fully regulated digital dollars. Let me read that again. Together, so Tether and Anchorage Digital, they offer a solution for the Tether USAT to launch fully regulated digital dollars. The new token that will tap into the unmatched global distribution network of the Tether Group. Cantor Fitzgerald will act as the designated reserve custodian and serve as the preferred primary dealer. And we can see here through this announcement by Anchorage Digital, who is responding to Tether's announcement regarding this. It says Anchorage Digital Bank, the first and only crypto bank and stablecoin issuance platform under federal USOCC oversight, is proud to be the issuer of Tether's new Genius compliant stablecoin, advancing the strength of the US dollar for decades to come. I really, really hope people are understanding how important this is, because this is a major step. Even if Tether is not the dollar, the digital dollar itself, the fact is we are starting to see the emergence of this digital financial system, and it is coming hard and it is coming fast, and this is significant. This is significant, and this was something that has gone right under the radar. Right under the radar. I'm not seeing anybody talking about this at all, because the world is looking at this hand. Wow, this hand is doing something underneath. There's something else I wanted to point out on this. It says Bo Hines brings a distinctive blend. So this is the dude who's going to be in control of it. Bo Hines brings a distinctive blend of legal, business, and policy expertise to his role as CEO of USAT. As both an entrepreneur and the former executive director of the White House Crypto Council. Former executive director of the White House Crypto Council. That's the connection there. Don't forget that. That's a major connection. He has operated as the nexus of governance, law, and financial innovation. His appointment underscores Tether's commitment to launching USAT under US-based leadership with a clear understanding of American regulatory priorities. Pretty significant. So we have that. We have the announcement of this sucker. A Genius Act, US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin announced with Tether that's going to be distributed through Anchorage Bank, which is under the USOCC oversight, which is also Genius compliant and is the only crypto bank so far that can do this. And they're working together with a guy who has a major connection to the White House. Something significant there. But along with that, this came out at the same time. Same time. U.S. government to bring Patriot Act to digital assets. FinCEN director reveals that the Treasury is finalizing a ban on privacy tools. Representatives revive special measures to fight modern threats. Says this week seems to be the week of revisiting useless legislation that turned fatal for the constitutional rights of the United States Americans while proving lethal for many non-U.S. citizens. While we're happy to report that the Treasury is working on reforming the Bank Secrecy Act, yesterday signed into law by President Nixon in 1970, this 9/11 anniversary, we have to report that the Treasury is working to apply the Patriot Act to digital assets. Signed into law after September 11, 2001, George Bush, the guy who sometimes forgets that there's a difference between Iraq and Ukraine, accidentally told U.S. Americans that the government was always looking for new ways to harm the country, and illegally invaded not one but two foreign nations. The Patriot Act officially grants the U.S. government special powers to bypass constitutional protections in the face of terrorism, including warrantless surveillance and the suspension of due process rights that have led to the unjust imprisonment and relentless torture of hundreds of people around the world. So yes, all those restrictions that we know of the Patriot Act are now going to be applied to digital assets. The same time that they announced the USAT digital dollar. Coincidence? I think not. And both of these just happened to get announced after a certain event just took place. Seems to me like they're trying to slide this underneath without people really seeing what's happening. Since 2001, the Patriot Act has significantly shaped the financial world, mandating the strict application of Know Your Customer frameworks, tightening anti-money laundering laws, and increasing the sharing of sensitive information between both private and public entities. Now, FinCEN Director Andrea Gacki confirmed that the Treasury is working on finalizing the so-called Mixer Rule, which uses the Patriot Act to prohibit private transactions in cryptocurrency. At the same time, Representative Noon of Iowa let slip that the House appears to continue to work on special measures to fight modern threats act, a Patriot Act digital asset legislation that's long been thought dead, which would solidify the Treasury use of Section 311 to prohibit certain transactions. In July, the White House asked the Treasury to finalize the so-called Mixer Rule, a Biden-era regulation that would outlaw most every mechanism for privacy on public blockchains for U.S. Americans. In this week's FinCEN oversight hearing, Director Gacki confirmed that the Treasury is currently working on finalizing that rule. Let's see here. To alleviate, so while Gacki stated that the FinCEN was working with blockchain analysis companies to de-anonymize pseudonymous transactions, Liccardo countered that the software, like mixers, would allow users to evade sophisticated detection techniques. To alleviate Liccardo's concerns, Gacki pointed Liccardo to the Biden-era Mixer Rule, stating that FinCEN and the Treasury are exploring the next steps on that. Since the Mixer Rule has already passed the notice of proposed rulemaking and public comment period, its next step would be the finalization of the rule. The delicate thing is not to restrict legitimate transactions, such as people trying to shield their activity from oppressive regimes, Gacki stated, adding that we have to make sure that they tailor any approach to be directed as illicit activity. What this thing does is if you start mixing different wallets and transactions and whatnot, it's going to flag the system to say that you are doing something illegal, and they can shut it off. They can stop the transaction, they can freeze your account, they can take the money away, they can do it like this. So if you have too many transactions that make it look like you're doing something illegal, they can hit you for it. That's what this is, because they'll deem it as illicit or terrorism or foreign, enemy of some type. And so this gives them the ability, if they know who you are and you are doing something that they don't want, they can hit you for it because of it. So it says the Treasury's Mixer Rule is not so much a Mixer Rule rather than a blanket ban on any software and even behavior that would grant users of public blockchains transactional privacy. As such, the rule would deem that the following software and behaviors are a primary money laundering concern, meaning that such transactions would end up blocked by centralized intermediaries and could put an end to development of privacy software, even for non-custodial wallets under the threat of criminal liabilities. So, they would believe that you are committing money laundering and can block your transactions if they see you doing one of these things: pooling or aggregating cryptocurrency from multiple persons, wallets, addresses, or accounts. So if you have multiple accounts, multiple wallets, and you guys are pooling money together for something like that, they can deem that money laundering and shut it off. Using pragmatic or algorithmic code to coordinate, manage, or manipulate the structure of a transaction. Splitting cryptocurrency for transmittal or transmitting the cryptocurrency through a series of independent transactions. So if you want to take a lump sum of money, but you start sending it through multiple independent transactions from the same account, they would deem you as possibly doing money laundering and stop you from doing it. Creating and using single-use wallets, addresses, or accounts, and sending cryptocurrency through such wallets, addresses, or accounts through a series of independent transactions. Same thing. Exchanging between types of cryptocurrency or other digital assets. So if you take a certain, say like a stable coin, and then you go and you want to exchange to a different type of cryptocurrency, they can flag that as money laundering as well. Yes, something as simple as that. And facilitating user-initiated delays in transactional activity. They are literally taking all of the Patriot Act and now applying it to all of cryptocurrency and digital financing. And it's going to be placed in there. And remember, this is the new system that they're trying to bring to replace the dollar. Again, I do not believe that these are separate issues. I believe that this is a coordinated event. And I certainly hope that you guys are seeing this as well. So, yeah, U.S. government to bring Patriot Act to digital assets. We are seeing a massive push for this digital dollar system, all at the same time, all right now, all under the cover of an event. And I think this is purposely done. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right here. All right. Just a couple more things. We're good on time here. Just a couple more things. I just wanted to give you an update on this. Trump says he'll send National Guard to Memphis, escalating the use of troops in U.S. cities. So this is continuing his push to reduce the crime around the country, and by doing so, he's sending out a boatload of DHS agents. He's sending out the National Guard. He's basically creating martial law light in certain regions and whatnot. We know that there are a bunch of states that are starting to see National Guard be on standby and whatnot around the country. It looks to me like they're preparing for something, but I can't sit here and tell you that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm not even going to speculate for what it could be that they're trying to do, but the fact is we're seeing a lot of unconstitutional movement around the country through fascist moves. And so Trump is now sending the National Guard to Memphis. It says Trump said Friday he'll send the National Guard to address the crime concerns of Memphis, Tennessee, his latest test of the limits of presidential power by using military force in American cities. Speaking of Fox News, Trump said that the mayor is happy and the governor is happy about the pending deployment. They're not exactly happy. They're just kind of going along with it. That's their own words. Calling the city deeply troubled, he said, we're going to fix that just like we did Washington, where he sent the National Guard and surged federal law enforcement. Tennessee's Republican governor embraced the troop deployment as part of a broader law enforcement surge in Memphis. However, Trump's assertion grew pushback from Democratic leader of Memphis. I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's a way to drive down crime, Mayor Paul Young told a news conference Friday, while acknowledging this city remained high on too many bad lists. So they're getting ready to do this. There's a lot of questions about the legality because they asked Trump the question, has the governor and the mayor signed off on this, and he basically dodged the question because in order for this to be legal without declaring a national emergency, they have to sign off on it, which they haven't done yet, as we know. But this is also in conjunction with Trump scrapping plans to send the National Guard to Chicago. Why is that? Because he did not get permission, and he would be under serious legal problems if he was to send the National Guard to Chicago without that or without declaring a national emergency. They haven't declared a national emergency yet. Seems like they're not quite ready to do that. That's what it seems like. We don't exactly know for sure, but it seems like they're not quite ready to do it yet. And so as of now, no National Guard to Chicago, but he says that they're going to send them to Memphis, and then he also mentioned possibly sending the National Guard down to New Orleans as well. So something to keep in mind there. So... But as we know, Chicago, they got that bolster of Midway Blitz DHS agents over there. And I think a couple people have already been killed because of that whole situation. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. All right. Now, we're going to get into something that I want to bring attention to this because I think it's important to bring to attention. I don't want to hover too much on it. It's a little disturbing, so just a heads up, if you don't like disturbing stuff, I do want to bring this forward. So this came out September 9th. It says Korean women target U.S. military in landmark forced prostitution lawsuit. There's more than 100 South Korean women forced to work as prostitutes, and I want to make something very clear. When it says forced to work as prostitutes, that is sex slavery. That's what that is. When you were forced into prostitution, that's sex slavery. If it was just prostitution, that would mean the women are making the choices for themselves. They did not make the choices for themselves. They were forced into it, and so they became slaves for this. So I want to make that very clear. I don't play around with this garbage. I just don't. So I want to make sure that that's what this is. More than 100 South Korean women were sex slaves for U.S. soldiers stationed in the country, have filed a landmark lawsuit accusing Washington of abuse, their lawyers said on Tuesday. Historians and activists say tens of thousands of South Korean women worked for state-sanctioned brothels from the 1950s to the 1980s, serving U.S. troops stationed in the country to protect the South from North Korea. In 2022, South Korea's top court ruled that the government had illegally established, managed, and operated such brothels for the U.S. military, ordering it to pay around 120 plaintiffs compensation. So it was a giant sex slavery ring. That's what this is. It's exactly what it is. From the 1950s to the 1980s. Last week, 117 victims filed a fresh lawsuit, this time officially accusing and seeking an apology from the U.S. military for the first time. The lawsuit seeks $10 million won, so $7,200 in compensation per victim. Unlike the better-known comfort women used by Japanese soldiers until the end of World War II, those who worked for the U.S. troops have received relatively limited attention, largely due to Washington being Seoul's key and longtime security ally. The economy surrounding military brothels in U.S.-based towns, including restaurants, barbershops, and bars catering to American GIs, made up about 25% of South Korea's GDP during the 1960s and 70s. Yeah, and you can see some stuff. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this but I want to let you guys know what's going on. I still cannot forget being beaten by U.S. soldiers, slapped for lowering my head while pouring drinks, for not smiling or for no reason at all, one of the plaintiffs in her 60s, and who did not wish to give her name, said in a statement. She was only 17 when she was tricked into the job and thought she was going to be a bartender, but was forced into the work and told that she could not leave due to her debt. She talks about how legs gave out from underneath her because of what was going on. Constant venereal testing every single day. If there was any issues, they would be forced drugged, locked in a room, forced drugged penicillin until it came, until the test went back normal. I don't even know what happens if it never came back normal. I'm sure one can only think on that. But I want to bring this forward. I want to bring this forward regarding this because this is not the only situation that this stuff happens. This stuff happens around the world. And it's not just, the movies and people like to make it seem like it's only the savages that you find in certain countries like in South America or the Middle East or Africa or something like that are doing this. But the fact is this type of stuff happens everywhere. And it doesn't matter what country it is this type of stuff happens. This is the part of this human trafficking, sex slavery ridden world that we are in. It is an absolutely disgusting and dark world that we are living in right now. And this isn't just, this is mental, physical, spiritual damage being done. And I bring this forward again because I want people to know that this world is falling so fast, so hard. And right now we need to make sure that we are staying fervent in prayer. Big time. And we are, again, these are situations that a lot of us don't even know about. But we need to make sure that we are praying for this situation. We are praying for Christ to come. And we are praying for these people to find Christ, to find Jesus in some type of way. This darkness is not going away. There's no fixing this. This is a sin problem. That's what this is. This is a sin problem. This is a fallen man sin problem. And in a lot of these cases, like this situation, it's just straight up evil. I don't care who you are. If you are somebody that goes and beats a woman and forces her into this type of thing, you are an evil person. And I don't use the word evil lightly, but you are an evil person for doing what you're doing. I don't care if you're over there fighting for the country, if you're in the military. You are a despicable, disgusting, evil person. And for what you did, you deserve to get castrated and killed for it. And I will say that. I don't care. That's not very Christian of you. I don't care. Because that's disgusting and it is evil. It's this stuff just it just man. Anyways. Okay. Moving along before I say something that I shouldn't say. Lord, forgive me for thoughts. All right. We got this too. I still hold to the belief that all this Epstein stuff that's coming out, we know the Epstein stuff is real. We know we know who's involved. We know this situation. We don't have all the details. We don't know how deep it goes. There's so much stuff that we're not going to know about while we're here, but we do know the Epstein thing is there. We know who's involved to somewhat of an extent. We know it's happening. But I believe that this show, this theater that's being thrown around by the Congress and by Trump and by all of this is just one giant distraction. I still believe that. But I do want to put this forward. It says Senate Republicans defeat Schumer's effort to force vote on Epstein file release. We're not getting the files. And I'm going to say that right up front. We're not getting the files. Those files, most of them are probably gone. The rest that's there are redacted and blacked out. We're not going to get all of this stuff. Nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's going down unless that's going to be some theater move in itself. But the fact is this is what's happening. And this is one of those things where I think the theater goes on, where now it looks like the Republicans are the bad guys because they're covering up for Trump, and the Democrats are the good guys because they're the ones that are trying to make this happen. And it's one giant theater. It's one giant display. Most of the people that are voting for this stuff are probably in the files themselves. just saying. I'm just throwing it out. But I just wanted to point that out there as well. So that also happened. That was September 10th as well. And then last but not least, I wanted to bring this forward too. It says Musk. I hate it when they have these videos that autoplay like this. Go away. Musk on his Washington tenure, the government is basically unfixable. Show of hands. Anybody find that surprising? I don't think there's anybody in this watching right now who believes that the government is fixable. It's not. This thing is being held together by duct tape because it is not time for them to blow it all up yet. That's just what it is. Tech billionaire Elon Musk said Tuesday that he believes that the federal government is irreparably broken following his brief stint leading the White House Department of Government Efficiency this year. Government is basically unfixable, he said during a virtual appearance at an all-in summit. It's good to have talented people in the administration, but at the end of the day, if you look at our national debt, which is insanely high, the interest payments exceed the Pentagon budget, and they keep rising, Musk said, initially referring to the the Defense Department before chuckling and acknowledging the new Department of War rebranding. This is pretty important here. If AI and robots don't solve our national debt, we're toast. I think that's pretty interesting that he said that, because I think I'm just speculating here, but this is how I read this. Is he's not saying that we need AI and robots to come in and fix the debt and start lowering the debt. Now, I think what he's saying is when this whole thing goes kablooey, it's AI and robots that are going to come in on the new system, and that's what's going to fix it. I think that's really what this means right here. It says Musk says he hasn't returned to the nation's capital since May after his messy falling out with Trump over the Big Beautiful Bill Act, which includes massive tax cut expected to balloon the national debt. It says Trump created the Musk-led Doge soon after his return to the White House in January, launching a sweeping overhaul for its federal workforce aimed at reducing waste, fraud, and abuse. It's not why it was created. Musk heavily emphasized that the use of tech, using AI to try and modernize the government, the effort drew swift backlash as thousands of federal workers lost their job, major programs and contracts were gutted, and Doge employees gained access to sensitive data. And that's what that was about. Going in, taking out the old system, installing the new system, so the Palantir AI system can go in and get all that data and start plugging it into the centralized system that we know Palantir was contracted to do. We went over all that. Palantir was contracted to build that centralized system, and Doge was there to assist in updating all sectors of the government to plug into it. Yes, Musk was never to go in and fix and reduce the debt and do any of that stuff. He was there to do just what he did, and mission accomplished. This government is not going to get fixed. They are preparing for the next stage of what this government will look like, and it will be more corporate than government. I firmly believe that. I could be wrong. That's my view of it. But I firmly believe that the next iteration is going to be much more corporate than government at that point. So, yeah. Guys, there is a lot of evil in this world right now. I'm sure I don't need to tell you guys that. I'm sure you guys recognize it. I know a lot of you guys. I see your comments, even if you're not talking directly to me, but I see your comments, and those who do leave comments to me or email me and whatnot. A lot of you are saying you are just so worn out from what the world is offering. And I want to make this this statement important, or clear and important. When you are in a position, and again, we don't have, I wouldn't even say that we have 5% of the answers of what's going on right now. But I want to make this very clear. When you are in the position where you have a somewhat better understanding of what is going on, what I mean by that is you don't adhere to the narratives that people are giving you. You're not falling for, and again, we all fall for them, but you're not falling for the mainline deceptions that are being put in front of your face. When you can see the true darkness that is surrounding not only the political, but the religious side of things, and what's going on in not only outside religions, but what's going on inside the church. And you're able to recognize and see these things. It is draining. I get it. It's exhausting. It wears you out. It's a spiritual and mental drag that eventually you start to feel physically. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to encourage you to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep moving. It's like a running back for a football team. You will get stopped the moment that your feet stop going forward. You don't stop moving your feet, because even when you hit resistance, if you just keep pushing forward, you will continue to get the extra yard or two. And I'm encouraging you guys, for those who see this and are exhausted and tired, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Don't stop moving your feet. Don't give up. I know there's some of you that says, I'm done. I see what's going on. It's just becoming too much. I'm done. I don't even want to look at it anymore. Don't have that mentality. Don't give up on that. That's exactly what Satan wants you to give up on. Just keep going. Just keep moving forward. Yeah, sometimes you got to take a break. There's nothing wrong with that. Shut it off for a few days. Yeah, you shut it off for about 2 days and you'll feel like you're 3 years behind the moment that you get back on. But still, sometimes you got to do that. But just keep going. You just keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't let it overtake you. Lean on the Lord, but continue to see what's going on. Continue to look at what's going on. And just keep moving your feet forward. I just want to encourage you. I want to make sure that I'm because I know we go through so much bad. I'll tell you what, we go through so much bad, and I get it. But you just keep moving forward. I just want to encourage you guys, stay focused on the Lord, lean on Him for the endurance and for the energy and for the strength. There's going to be days that you just feel like you're done, you can't do it. Just put the next foot in front and just keep moving forward. I just want to encourage you guys. It's so important right now. And I say this, I do not say this happily. I want to say that this is not fun. I don't get, it saddens me. It disappoints me. But right now, especially after what just happened a few days ago, I just see how completely deceived the church is right now. And I mean that on multiple levels. And I'm specifically pointing to the church. And I don't mean church buildings or corporate church. I mean individual believers of the body of Christ. Yes, they're saved, but they don't have a clue of what is going on in the world right now. They are completely led by narrative and emotion. And it's leading them straight into deception. And they don't know any better. They don't know that there's anything out there, and they'll defend the position. We need believers who can see through this stuff. And I mean it on all fronts. On all fronts. We need believers who can see through it. We need more warriors like that. You are a watchman. Nobody said that's an easy job. It's a tiring job. You can't sleep. You can't fall asleep on the job. You have to always be awake and aware and always on guard so you're not caught off guard. And it's tiring. I know. Just keep going. We need you here. We need you here. It's why we're here. If you're watching this and you've been watching and you're one of those people that see what's going on, clearly the Lord has given you the ability to be a watchman. Don't take it for granted. Don't give up on the job. Don't desert that job now. There's a whole lot of wall and very few watchmen on that wall right now. Just stay the course. One foot in front of the other. Even when the day gets tired, just keep moving forward. Just massive encouragement for you guys, okay? It's a very, very hard time. I know. And it can be frustrating. It can be tiring. I'm exhausted. just to be vulnerable for a second, I'm exhausted. But you can't stop now. Can't stop now. Keep going. I encourage you. Please keep going. We need you in there. We need you in there. But for those who don't know the Lord, and you are just along for the ride, you see the garbage going on in the world right now, but you don't have any hope. There's only one hope, and it is offered and given by Jesus Christ and his gospel, which is as simple as ABC. A, you admit that you're a sinner. The act of repentance, metanoia, the changing of mind, turning from self to Christ. It's realizing I can't do this on my own. Doesn't matter what deity I'm looking into. Doesn't matter what doctrine out there that isn't connected to the Word of God. Doesn't matter how much information I collect. It doesn't matter how much prepping I do. It doesn't matter how many revolutionary groups that I'm a part of. None of that is going to matter. Because the scripture is clear. Our future, God's history tells us that it is Jesus Christ alone that finds life, and all those who reject Christ find death. And so we must turn from that to Christ. It's through this repentance that allows us to truly believe in Jesus Christ as our Savior, which is B, we believe that Jesus Christ is the one and only begotten Son of God, that he came down 100% man, 100% God, the God-man, the one and only, and he lived the perfect sinless life, which means he was the only one qualified to carry the sins of the world upon his shoulders to the cross, where he was crucified and he died. But because there's power in the blood of Jesus Christ, and I'm going to say that again, because there is power in the blood of Jesus Christ, he defeated death and rose again on the third day, just exactly as he said he would. And he rose again, and for all who believe in him shall not perish, but live forever in his presence and in his glory. The glory is his. He did it. He did the finished, completed work on the cross. There's nothing more that we can add, and there's nothing that we can take away. It is through his completed death, burial, and resurrection, through the completed work on the cross, that we find salvation. And when we are saved, we receive the Holy Spirit, where we are sealed, and we are given a wonderful and powerful gift of prayer that allows us direct access to the throne room of God, where we can speak to God. We say, Lord Jesus, thank you. Thank you for laying down your life so that I may find life. Lord, I believe that you are the one and only begotten Son of God, that you came down and lived the perfect sinless life, that you died upon the cross, and that you rose again on the third day. Lord Jesus, give us the strength and the endurance and the energy to just keep placing one foot in front of the other, just to keep going until your appointed time where you will come and take us out. Help us to edify and encourage one another. There's so few of us as it is, but for those who do know others who are watchmen as well, just give us the words and the encouragement to help keep our brothers and our sisters moving forward as well. Lord, we eagerly await your rescue, our rescue. Please come soon, Lord Jesus. Amen. Amen. Just keep moving forward, guys. Just keep moving forward. Don't stop. Because once you stop, it's hard to keep moving again. It's hard to keep moving again. All right. Well, I planned for a shorter episode because I figured there'd be a ton of questions, and I was right. My word. Okay. Let's see here. We'll start here. Edward McKelvey. Question. If you're the Queen of England, does that make Rocky a future king? No, he's a prince. He's a prince. That's what he is. Patrick Starr. Question. Any thoughts on the recent Russian-Poland flare-up? I'll give you a question in return, Patrick. And maybe you can go and look around and see if there's something to it or not. Are we absolutely positive that the drones were Russian? Are we positive that these Russian drones that entered into Poland are actually Russian? Something to think about on that one. Let's see here. Patrick, regarding Trump's obvious health decline, do you think he had a stroke recently? Yeah, I saw the picture that I think I know that's what you're referencing. It was the 9/11 thing, and he was sitting there, and it looked like he was half dead with his part of his face was slightly drooping, and he looked like he was about to fall asleep and stuff like that. There's clearly some health issues going on with Trump, and he has his good days and his bad days. You can tell they're trying to cover this stuff up, but yeah, there's definitely some health problems there. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I think there's, again, and this is not speculation. This is not predicting. This is just giving you an avenue of my thought process. It really seems like they are prepping and getting things ready to move on to Vance to take over. And we know that it seems like that would be the move that they would do when they're ready to get this techno thing moving. So that's just my avenue of thought. I thought of that a couple months ago, and I'm still seeing stuff popping out here and there that's suggesting that still seems like that's the next card that they're going to play. But again, things can change at a drop of a hat. So we'll see what happens. Bryce Hagan says, are they drugging him too? I wouldn't put it past them. If they're getting ready to move on, there's a chance. But I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but I wouldn't. Why wouldn't they? So just something to think about. Let's see here. Katie, question. What do they consider as adult use on the internet? So like adult content regarding the age verification thing. The last thing I want to watch is an adult film or adult filth. Filth the fish. Sorry. Rush Hour. Anyways, moving on. It's case by case basis. Some of them actually define adult content as like adult websites, those types of things. Other laws and stuff that I've seen are very broad, where adult content could be something that's considered too gory. So, like, we've seen videos of Christians being beheaded in Nigeria and stuff like that. That would be considered adult content. And so you would need to verify yourself for that. Some of them are so broad that it could be classified as just language in a comment section on a message board. So it's a case by case basis on that. So it really, you got to look for your individual spot to see what they're deeming as that. Let's see here. Edward McKelvey question. Could anything be changed to digital, then a worldwide outage wipe away all debt and wealth? Yeah, I've heard that theory, but I just don't think that that's the play for them. But yeah, I've heard that before. CL Moody question. Have you heard about whether they will require our biometrics in order to have one of these digital accounts? The only biometrics I've seen so far here in the United States is a live selfie. So it's like take your phone and it's for like 2 or 3 seconds. You scan around your head, and that's a live selfie. That's biometrics. It's getting your facial structure and your eyes and all that type of stuff. That's as far as I've seen so far. That could change tomorrow. So, but that's not all of them. That's just some of them. But it's gonna get worse from here on out. So, yeah, well, just be careful. That's a decision everybody's gonna have to make too. So, that's an individual decision. Again, this body's temporary. We're gonna be gone anyways. So, it just depends. It's giving up your ID or your biometric like face or something like that, which they already have all that information. Remember that. They already have all that information, is not anything the same as getting something injected in your arm. So, again, it's your decision on how far you want to go with that. But again, when it comes to something like that, it's like, for me personally, it's like, whatever. They already have that information. So, let's see here. Hello, beloved. Question. Do I interpret the scriptures? Interpret the scriptures to say that all born again believers go in the rapture, or just those who are in the church of like Philadelphia, so to speak? All born again believers go in the rapture. So even the blindest of the blind, when it comes to the deception in the world, as long as they have Jesus Christ, they go in the rapture. That's how that works. That's what I believe. And I believe that's what the Bible says. Let's see here. Chris, believer in Jesus, what would you like me to fill your refrigerator with next? More pineapple pizza? Man, somebody ban that guy. No, don't ban him. Don't ban him. Okay. I got a bunch of them here, which we knew people would be asking them. So rather than answer them all individually, I'll just answer it. I planned on this. I planned on being a bunch of questions about this. So, about the whole Charlie Kirk situation. Hold on. Never banned from. Okay, somebody banned that guy too. Banning you for your pineapple takes on pizza. See, it's weird. And before I get into that, it's weird. Pineapple is my favorite fruit, but it just does not belong on pizza. Anyways, okay. So, the Charlie Kirk situation. I know a lot of people were hoping, asking, expecting me to talk about this today. For those who have been around my channel and me for a long time, most of you guys know when stuff like this happens, I take the route, and I think it is the best and wisest route, to wait. To wait and see what comes out. Because every day, there's new and conflicting information coming out everywhere. So it's usually best to wait. So, not going to get into that. I also don't plan on getting into it for a couple of reasons. And I'm not going to get into arguments. I'm not going to get into speculation. I'm not going to get in debates about it. I will give you what I believe as of right now that I am pretty much 98 to 99% positive about. And I'll give you that. I believe, and this is like 100%, I believe Charlie is dead. He's dead. I believe that he was indeed killed, murdered, however you want to put it. I do believe that. I'm about 99.9999% sure that the kid who is being paraded around as the shooter, he did not shoot Charlie. Charlie was not shot straight forward into the neck. He was shot from the right, through the temple, downward, out his neck. Because if you watch the video, and I know a lot of them don't want to watch that, which I get, you will see that the entry wound is actually right by his ear, and you can see the blood start to come out as he's falling over. And the exit wound is the big one on his neck. The exit wound is always bigger than the entry wound and where the blood starts coming out. He was shot from the right. The kid was positioned in front, the 200-yard building in front. He did not shoot Charlie. Charlie was shot from the right. That's a patsy for whatever reason it is. This was a hit on Charlie. It was. Whatever reason why, I don't know. I don't know. So, but yeah, I am not, that's the stuff that I'm positive on. Is Charlie's dead. It was not faked. I always go from this perspective. And if you're somebody who thinks it's faked or not, here's something to think about. Why would you fake Charlie's death? What benefit would he have to these people for staying alive behind the scenes? What benefit would he provide? His whole shtick was a public figure. He wasn't doing things behind the scenes. So what good would it be? They just killed him. Or whoever they is, I don't know. But yeah, there's no benefit for it. And it's pretty clear that he was shot from the right in regards to that. So the whole person that you see, the kid out there, that's all fake storyline to get you wrapped up into something else. That's the stuff I'm pretty much positive on. My whole thing regarding this, and people know where I stand. Okay, first of all, because I already got people that have been coming at me saying I'm a despicable person because of videos that I've said in the past, that I've done about Kirk in the past. The death of somebody, whether it was natural or being killed, being murdered, does not change the stuff that they did in their lives. Everything that I have reported on about Charlie Kirk in the past, I still stand by. None of that has changed because that's what he was going into. I'm not going into details about it. You guys can go and look if you don't know where I'm at, but none of that changes. But I still believe that, or I still hope that he was truly saved. Again, I'm not a monster. It says because somebody is actively participating in bad things that I want them to go to hell. I'm not that person. I want everybody to receive life, as does our Father. He wants everybody to receive life. So this idea that I'm some despicable human that's laughing because he's burning in hell is just stupid. So if you're one of those people, just go away. I don't even want you around here. But what he did still doesn't change, even though he was killed. He was pushing the mystery religion. He was pushing dominionism. He was pushing the political religion. That's what he was doing. But I still hope that he's in heaven right now. I do. But I'm not God, so I don't know if he is or not. I don't know that thing. So I'm putting that out there in regards to that. But what I'm disappointed in, and the main thing that I've seen that really depresses the heck out of me, is the church that's somehow raising him up as an idol of the faith. Pastors, podcasters, faith leaders, Christians who have never once mentioned his name are now saying he's a hero of the faith that we should all strive to be. And I'm being dead serious. That's what people are calling for. And these people clearly don't know anything about what he was involved with. Now, I only know some of it too, but I have a better understanding of what it is. And this just goes to show that you've fallen for the narrative. People saying that they've been crying their eyes out for the past several days because of his death, even though you never even met the guy, you never knew the guy, you never even watched the guy except for a few clips here and there that come across your screen. You're letting emotions lead you, and I'm somebody who I've stood strong on it. You cannot let the emotions lead you. You have to keep a rational mind. And I am seeing the church falling into this emotional thing, and I'm seeing so many people raising this guy up as some idol of the faith and a Christian martyr, and I'm shocked. Does that mean that I hope he's burning in hell? No. I still hope he's saved. But I don't think that's the right route to go either, raising him up like that. So, yeah, that's going to irritate a lot of people. We're the Prophecy Misfits, man. I'm not here to kowtow and to beat around the bush and sugarcoat things. I just tell it as it is. And that's where I'm at. So, that's the situation. This is not a thing where if you're expecting me to do a deep dive into it, you're not going to get that. I don't see the benefit to it. I don't see why. This is a situation where I think it's a much wiser option to see what comes in response to it. Whether it's just psychological, whether it's something material, or whether it's an action of some type. I think the wiser option is, rather than deep diving and digging into the thing itself, is to focus on what might come from this. And as of right now, what I've seen coming from it is a whole lot of church deception. We just got to see what the secular world is going to do from it. So that's that. Again, that's most of the questions that I have. So I'll just answer all that in a bunch. Last but not least, we have got the Peanut Gallery. Oh boy, it's a long one too. Oh boy, what are you doing to me, Stephanie? Okay, a man buys a new car and goes home to tell his wife. He goes the wrong way up a one-way street, bumps into 7 people, goes on the pavement, and takes a shortcut through a public park. He is seen by a policeman, but is not arrested. Why? What? Is this like a I have 3 houses, Jim has 2 houses. How many purple pancakes does it take to fill a pool? Like, I'm not sure I'm understanding this one, Peanut Gallery. Maybe I just don't have the brain capacity for it. This is he's walking. Oh, this is like a horse. His name is Friday thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess my brain's just so fried right now. I didn't quite get. Oh, either way. Oh my goodness, Stephanie, you got me on that one. You win. You win that one. There we go. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Appreciate you guys. Usual spiel, if you guys can, like, share, subscribe. Get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views, not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the morning out to people and getting people to Jesus. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, certainly appreciate it. Hopefully we can reach some people and answer some questions, give them some encouragement and hope, and give them the gospel of Jesus Christ. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, certainly appreciate it. Also, make sure you guys follow me on Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. If I get booted off YouTube, we'll be back up live streaming over on Rumble. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow over there. Telegram, post updates, announcements, and other little things here and there that I can't necessarily put in video format. Make sure you guys follow over there. But if you don't like Rumble, you don't like Telegram, that's okay. Just make sure you guys bookmark the WretchedWatchmen.com website. That's your one-stop shop to stay up to date on everything. You will find everything there. Announcements, podcasts, live streams, and everything in between. It's all on the website. I praise the Lord for that. That's truly a blessing and a weight off my shoulders, I'll tell you what. But make sure you guys go ahead and bookmark the website so you always are in the know of what's going on. Remember, no show this Tuesday, taking a break. I suggest, if you're somebody who's that watches every Tuesday, take this time, spend a little time in the Word, spend some time praying, spend some time with some family or friends if you have them around you, and enjoy the break yourself as well. So yeah, we'll be back Saturday, Lord willing, of course. And then last but not least, if you guys would like to support this channel and what I got going on, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and GiveSendGo. This channel is not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' generous donations. So if you guys would like to support this channel and what I got going on, those links are down below. And I just love you guys. I do. I'm so thankful and so grateful for the Lord for this incredible Misfit family. And we're small, we're rambunctious. We could all use a couple more showers. Just, you know who you are. You know who you are. But I'm thankful for you guys. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining me. And again, if the Lord does not come back by Saturday, see you guys here. But tomorrow is Sunday, so make sure you guys get your Misfit, heathenic, wretched booties to church tomorrow, whether online, in person, doesn't matter, as long as it's Bible believing Christ following church. And I'll see you Saturday. Peace out. Maranatha.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.